Chosen one, you are not here by accident, and you are not hearing this by chance. Heaven has arranged this moment with precision, and your spirit was drawn here because the timing is exact. Chosen one, do not be distracted by what the world is showing you right now. Do not let uncertainty speak louder than truth. This is not a season of panic. This is a threshold moment where things begin to shift in your favor. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural turning point. What has been delayed is now aligning. What has been held back is preparing to move. There is a door of wealth, provision, and elevation opening before you, not through striving, but through divine appointment. Chosen one, this is the kind of moment spoken of when Scripture says, "The vision awaits its appointed time, and though it seems delayed, it will not fail," as written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. Anointed one, heaven does not announce these moments loudly to everyone. It marks them quietly and draws the ready. What you are sensing is not imagination, it is alignment. A transfer is not only about resources, but about position, clarity, and authority being restored. And sometimes God's reminders do not come through explanations or voices, but through something simple, steady, and quiet, that the soul recognizes when everything else grows loud. What has been prepared rests here, unchanged, waiting without urgency. Chosen one, you do not need to hear this a second time for it to work, because heaven does not repeat itself to convince, it speaks once to align. What is happening right now is not emotional, and it is not imagination. A new chapter is opening that rewrites your relationship with money, provision, and value. I say this carefully because I have lived the season where worry spoke louder than faith, where effort did not seem to match outcome, and where praying for relief felt heavier than working for it. That chapter does not follow you here. It ends at this threshold. Anointed one, you are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. The version of you that survived scarcity learned strength, but it was never meant to stay there. I remember the moment I realized that struggle had trained me, but it was not my destination. That same realization is forming in you now. What once felt like limits were never ceilings. They were lessons, and those lessons have done their work. Chosen one, this is the moment where expectation shifts. Whatever number you once imagined as enough is being challenged, not to create greed, but to expand capacity. Heaven does not release increase into a vessel that still fears it. You are being steadied so you can carry more without panic, more without losing peace. I learned this the hard way. The moment money stopped feeling emotional, it started moving differently. It became a tool instead of a test. That is the alignment taking place in you now. Anointed one, slow your breath here. Not because this moment is fragile, but because clarity requires stillness. Expansion does not rush. It settles. It roots itself. Abundance is not noise. It is order. Prosperity is not pressure, it is rhythm. What is flowing toward you will not demand chaos from you. It will respond to calm confidence. Chosen one, what you are stepping into is not wishful thinking, it is observable alignment. Money responds to clarity. Opportunity responds to readiness. When I stopped chasing outcomes and started honoring structure, doors began opening that effort alone never touched. This is not mystical language, this is lived experience. Wealth moves toward those who can see it clearly, hold it responsibly, and release fear around it. That is what is forming in you now. Anointed one, you are not behind. You are positioned. Every delay refined your discernment. Every dry season taught you stewardship before overflow. I know what it feels like to want relief before readiness, But heaven does not confuse speed with blessing. What is coming will stay. That is why timing matters. Chosen one. From this moment forward, attraction becomes easier because resistance is loosening. You are no longer negotiating with old beliefs that told you money was scarce or difficult. Those beliefs served a season, and now they are being released without force. I watched this happen in my own life quietly. One day I noticed I was making decisions without fear. That was the sign. Not the amount, but the mindset. When fear left, flow followed. Anointed one, you are learning to see money neutrally, as resource, as movement, as value exchanged through skill, consistency, and integrity. This is maturity. This is readiness. This is why opportunities begin recognizing you without effort. People trust those who move calmly around resources. Systems open to those who respect structure. You are becoming that person without striving to prove it. Chosen one, do not rush the understanding that is arriving alongside provision. You are not only receiving increase, you are receiving clarity about how income is created, how it is sustained, and how it multiplies over time. This knowledge changes how you walk through the world. You pause instead of react. You plan instead of panic. You respond instead of chase. That posture attracts favor. Anointed one, you may notice small changes first. Better decisions, cleaner boundaries, a quieter confidence. These are not coincidences. These are signs of alignment. I learned to trust these signals before the visible results arrived, and they always arrived. Chosen one, let this settle without forcing belief. What is opening does not need your effort, only your readiness. Abundance is not arriving to overwhelm you, but to support you. And as this truth anchors itself, you may feel a calm certainty replace urgency. That calm is not passive, it is power under control. Anointed one, this is not the end of the message, but it is a natural pause. What follows builds on what has already been set in motion, and it remains here, steady and prepared, without needing to call for you. Chosen one. What begins to unfold now is not louder, it is deeper. This is where many misunderstand how heaven moves. Breakthrough does not always announce itself with noise or urgency. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet rearranging of your inner posture. You stop bracing. You stop anticipating loss. You notice yourself making decisions with a steadiness you did not practice before. That is not random. That is preparation completing its work. Anointed one, you are learning that wealth is not attracted to desperation, but to stability. I remember a season where I prayed for increase while still fearing responsibility. Heaven did not answer that prayer immediately, not out of denial, but out of protection. When provision finally arrived, it came with clarity, not chaos. That is the pattern you are stepping into now. You are not being rushed into abundance, you are being established in it. Chosen one. There is a difference between wanting relief and being ready for stewardship. Relief seeks escape. Stewardship seeks structure. What is forming in you now is the ability to hold increase without losing direction. That is why you may feel less emotional about money lately. It is becoming neutral. When money loses emotional charge, it gains momentum. This is not theory. This is alignment lived out in real decisions, real planning, real discipline. Anointed one, this is where patience becomes power. Expansion builds layer by layer. It does not collapse under pressure because it was never rushed into place. You are beginning to think longer term without forcing yourself to. You consider consequences, you see patterns, you recognize which opportunities carry substance and which carry distraction. This discernment is worth more than quick gain. I learned that after chasing things that looked promising but carried no foundation, heaven used those lessons to refine my sight. You are receiving that sight now without needing to repeat the mistakes. Chosen one, alignment does not mean everything feels easy. It means your thoughts, decisions, and actions are finally moving in the same direction. When that happens, effort becomes productive, time becomes valuable, opportunities become visible, not because they suddenly appear, but because you are now ready to recognize them. This is why your perspective is shifting. You are not waiting for rescue, you are participating in building. Anointed one, you may notice that money conversations no longer drain you, planning no longer feels restrictive, responsibility no longer feels heavy. These are signs of maturity, not loss of faith. Scripture speaks of being faithful with little before being entrusted with much, not as a test, but as a process. Heaven does not give weight to a structure that has not been reinforced. You are being reinforced now. Chosen one. This season is teaching you that income grows when value grows. Value grows through skill, consistency, problem solving, and reliability. None of these require pressure. They require presence. I remember realizing that my earning potential expanded the moment I committed to doing fewer things with greater integrity. That same shift is happening in you. You are simplifying. You are focusing. That focus creates momentum. Anointed one, do not compare your path to anyone else's. Comparison confuses timing. Your journey is specific. Your preparation has been intentional. Every step forward counts, even the ones that felt invisible. Heaven counts what the world overlooks. Quiet progress is still progress. Often it is the kind that lasts. Chosen one. As trust grows, urgency fades, pressure softens, confidence increases. You begin to trust your ability to make sound financial decisions without seeking constant reassurance. That trust attracts opportunity. People trust those who move calmly with resources. Systems open to those who demonstrate consistency. I have watched this happen slowly, then suddenly. Not because I chased favor, but because readiness met timing. Anointed one, you are preparing quietly, steadily, intentionally. This is why unexpected opportunities begin to appear. Not miracles without context, but openings that make sense when you look back. Gifts, windfalls, profitable ideas, strategic connections. These do not arrive to overwhelm you. They arrive to expand what you have already built. Chosen one. Notice the satisfaction of having enough to share. Notice the freedom to invest in yourself without guilt. Notice the peace that comes from knowing provision is not fragile. These are not fantasies, they are indicators. Gratitude becomes natural when abundance stops feeling uncertain. I learned that gratitude rooted in knowing feels different than gratitude rooted in hoping. You are crossing into that knowing now. Anointed one, allow that feeling to expand gently. See abundance touching every area of your life without force. Your work, your home, your relationships, your health. Support begins to feel normal instead of surprising. Security begins to feel deserved instead of temporary. This is what it means when abundance becomes your standard, not your exception. Chosen one. Each step forward now is backed by preparation. Each decision builds momentum. Each day adds stability. This is not dramatic, it is dependable. And dependable growth outlasts dramatic moments. When you visualize your future now, it feels grounded, not inflated. That grounding is strength. Anointed one. As this settles, you may sense a quiet peace replace anticipation. That peace is not the end of movement, it is the foundation for what comes next. What follows builds on this clarity, and it waits without urgency, already formed, already steady, already present. Chosen one. What unfolds next is the internal shift that allows the external to follow without resistance. This is where many pause, not because they are unworthy, but because familiarity tries to pull them back. The old rhythm of struggle can feel safer than the unknown rhythm of ease. I have stood in that exact space where abundance felt unfamiliar and the mind searched for problems that no longer existed. That moment is not failure, it is transition, and you are moving through it now. Anointed one, you are learning that readiness is not loud confidence, it is quiet trust. Trust in your ability to handle what comes without losing yourself. Trust in your discernment when choices appear. Trust in the steadiness that has been built through experience, not theory. Heaven does not release weight to instability, it releases weight to maturity. That is why this phase feels calm instead of dramatic. Calm is the signal. Chosen one. There is a guiding force shaping your income, your planning, and your direction now. That force is expansion. Not expansion that overwhelms, but expansion that teaches. Expansion in awareness, where you notice opportunities you once dismissed. Expansion in capacity, where larger numbers no longer intimidate you. Expansion in confidence, where hesitation gives way to clarity. I remember the first time I realized my decisions were no longer driven by fear of loss. That was the true breakthrough. The money followed later. Anointed one, expansion does not rush, it builds. It teaches you to think beyond immediate relief and into sustainable growth. You begin to recognize patterns in how value is created and how momentum is maintained. This changes how you earn, how you manage, and how you protect what flows into your life. Respect for money replaces anxiety about it. Planning replaces guessing. Direction replaces reaction. Chosen one. Structure begins to form naturally, not rigid control, but intentional design. Money responds to structure because structure creates stability. Stability supports growth. You are building that framework now, often without realizing it. Small habits, clear boundaries, thoughtful decisions. These are the unseen beams that hold future abundance. I learned that wealth does not collapse strong structures, it leans into them. Anointed one, you are also learning that income grows when value grows. Value is not noise or constant motion. Value is skill refined, reliability practiced, problems solved with consistency. You are capable of learning, improving, and applying what you know in ways that increase your reach. This is not pressure, it is empowerment. The moment this clicked for me, comparison lost its grip. I stopped measuring my pace against others and started honoring my own path. That freedom multiplied results. Chosen one. Your journey is specific. Your timing is deliberate. Every step forward carries weight, even the ones no one applauds. As awareness settles, urgency softens, confidence replaces impatience. You begin trusting your ability to navigate financial decisions with calm attention. That trust is magnetic. People sense it. Opportunities respond to it. Systems open for those who demonstrate steadiness. Anointed one, you no longer react emotionally to money situations. You pause, you evaluate, you respond. This maturity attracts alignment. Those who manage resources responsibly are entrusted with more. I have watched opportunities appear, not because I searched harder, but because I was finally prepared to receive them without chaos. That same preparation is evident in you now. Chosen one. As this continues, You may notice moments of unexpected provision, not always dramatic, but timely, a gift, a connection, an idea that solves more than one problem at once. These are confirmations, not conclusions. They remind you that alignment is active. They invite gratitude rooted in knowing, not hoping. Anointed One, allow that gratitude to settle in your body, not as excitement, but as peace. Peace that comes from certainty, peace that does not need proof to remain. Imagine abundance touching every area of your life with that same steadiness. Your work feels supported, your relationships feel secure, your future feels anchored instead of uncertain. Chosen One, see yourself moving through life confident and grounded. Each decision builds momentum, each day strengthens stability, each action aligns with long-term growth. This is not imagination, this is vision becoming familiar. When a future feels familiar, it becomes accessible. Anointed One, let this vision settle without forcing it. What is being built does not need urgency. It needs consistency. The next phase continues from here, not louder, not faster, but deeper, and it remains ready, patient, and already in motion. Chosen One, what begins to mature now is your relationship with certainty. Not certainty about outcomes, but certainty about your capacity to move through whatever arrives without collapse. This is the level most never reach because it requires releasing the identity that learned to survive through tension. I remember noticing the moment I stopped checking outcomes obsessively. Not because I no longer cared, but because trust had replaced vigilance. That was when flow became consistent instead of occasional. You are entering that same territory now. Anointed One, you are no longer being shaped by urgency. Urgency narrows vision, readiness expands it. Heaven does not move through panic, it moves through order. That order is forming in your thinking, your pacing, your expectations. You begin to notice that you are less reactive to news, less shaken by fluctuations, less tempted to rush decisions. This is not detachment, this is grounding, and grounding is what allows increase to remain. Chosen One, there is a quiet rewiring happening in how you interpret opportunity. You no longer see every opening as a lifeline, you see it as a choice. That distinction changes everything. When opportunity stops feeling like rescue, it starts feeling like alignment. I learned that when I stopped saying yes out of fear and started saying yes out of clarity. The quality of what entered my life shifted immediately. The same discernment is awakening in you now. Anointed One. Wealth is not responding to effort alone anymore. It is responding to coherence. Your values, actions, and direction are beginning to agree with each other. That agreement creates trust. Trust creates flow. This is why systems, people, and timing begin to cooperate without force. It is not because you are pushing harder, it is because you are no longer pulling against yourself. Chosen One. This is also where surrender deepens. Not surrender as passivity, but surrender as alignment. You stop trying to control the path and start honoring the process. Scripture often speaks of seasons, not moments, because growth that lasts unfolds over time. You are learning to let time work with you instead of against you. That patience is not slowing you down, it is stabilizing you for what comes next. Anointed One. There may be moments where old voices resurface, doubt, comparison, the memory of lack. These do not mean you are moving backward, they mean old patterns are losing their authority. When something loses power, it often makes one last attempt to be heard. I have seen this in my own journey. Each time I chose steadiness instead of reaction, the voice faded faster. You are doing the same now. Chosen one. Your sense of value is shifting inward. You are no longer measuring worth by output alone. You recognize that value includes wisdom, restraint, and timing. This is why your decisions feel fewer but stronger. Fewer distractions, fewer detours, more intentional movement. This is not contraction, it is refinement. And refinement precedes expansion that endures. Anointed one, you are also beginning to notice how abundance expresses itself quietly before it becomes visible. Better conversations, cleaner commitments, stronger intuition around people and projects. These are early signals. When I learned to respect these signals, I stopped missing the moments that mattered. You are learning to listen now without needing proof first. Chosen one. There is a peace forming that does not depend on results. That peace is not indifference. It is rooted assurance. Assurance that provision is not fragile. Assurance that timing is not random. Assurance that what is meant to arrive will not bypass you. This assurance changes how you move through your days. You carry less tension. You conserve energy. That conservation creates space for creativity and insight. Anointed one, from this place, generosity begins to feel natural instead of risky. Not reckless giving, but confident sharing. You notice satisfaction in having enough margin to support others and invest in yourself without guilt. This is a sign that scarcity is loosening its grip. I remember the first time generosity felt safe instead of sacrificial. That was when I knew something fundamental had shifted. You are approaching that same realization. Chosen one. As this integration continues, your future stops feeling distant. It feels familiar. You can picture stability without forcing the image. You can imagine growth without anxiety. This familiarity is not fantasy. It is your nervous system agreeing with your vision. When the body agrees with the vision, action becomes effortless. Anointed one, allow this agreement to settle. Nothing needs to be proven right now. Nothing needs to be rushed. What is aligning completely. The next phase does not require anticipation. It arrives through continuation, already supported, already balanced, already unfolding in its proper time. Chosen one. What strengthens now is your relationship with responsibility, not as burden, but as privilege. Responsibility stops feeling like pressure when you understand it is evidence of trust. Heaven does not entrust what it intends to remove. I remember realizing that the weight I once feared was actually proof that I had been prepared. You are beginning to sense that same truth. What you are being positioned to carry is not meant to exhaust you. It is meant to confirm you. Anointed one, you are learning to hold vision without forcing outcome. This is a subtle but powerful shift. When you stop gripping the future tightly, the present becomes productive. Your attention sharpens. Your energy is conserved. You act from clarity rather than impulse. This is why your steps feel fewer but more effective. I have watched this pattern unfold again and again. Progress accelerates when urgency steps aside. Chosen one. There is also a refinement happening in how you interpret success. It is no longer defined by speed or comparison. It is defined by sustainability. You begin asking different questions. Will this last? Will this grow? Will this support peace as well as provision? These questions signal maturity. They invite opportunities that align rather than distract. When I started asking these questions, my life became quieter and more fruitful at the same time. You are arriving at that same intersection. Anointed one, your sense of timing is sharpening. You no longer rush into what looks available. You wait for what feels aligned. That waiting is not hesitation. it is discernment. Scripture speaks often of waiting not as delay, but as strengthening. Those who wait are renewed, not stalled. You are experiencing that renewal now in how you move, speak, and choose. Chosen one. You may notice that your relationship with effort is changing. Effort becomes intentional rather than exhausting. You apply energy where it multiplies instead of where it drains. This is not laziness, it is wisdom. I learned that working harder does not always mean building better. Working cleaner does. That realization marked a turning point. The same realization is settling into you now. Anointed one, this is also where trust in provision deepens beyond words. You stop checking for reassurance constantly. You notice that things arrive when needed without forcing. Not everything at once, but enough, then more, then steady flow. This is how heaven teaches confidence, not through excess first, but through consistency. Consistency builds certainty. Certainty stabilizes faith. Chosen one. As certainty grows, your nervous system relaxes. You breathe differently. You sleep differently. You think more clearly. These are not small details. They are signs that abundance is integrating rather than overwhelming. I remember when rest stopped feeling irresponsible and started feeling necessary. That was the moment I realized growth had become sustainable. You are approaching that same realization. Anointed one, generosity continues to evolve here. Not generosity that empties you, but generosity that flows from margin. You give without anxiety. You invest without guilt. You share without fear of loss. This shift tells you scarcity no longer governs your decisions. I have seen how this changes relationships and opportunities alike. People sense when generosity is grounded rather than forced. Chosen one. Your future now feels less like a question and more like a direction. You may not see every detail, but you trust the trajectory. That trust allows you to move forward without second-guessing every step. This is not blind faith. It is informed confidence built through experience. Experience you earned. Experience you survived. Anointed one, allow this direction to settle without trying to define it fully. What is unfolding does not require constant interpretation. It requires presence. The path continues to open as you walk it. Not ahead of you, but beneath your feet. Chosen one. This phase completes an internal foundation. What follows builds on it naturally. Nothing is being withheld, nothing is being rushed. What comes next arrives through continuation, already supported, already resourced, already steady, waiting without demand. Chosen one. What deepens now is your relationship with alignment itself. Not alignment as a concept, but alignment as a lived state. You begin to notice that things no longer feel scattered. Your energy is gathered, your focus is cleaner, your decisions feel less reactive and more inevitable. This is what happens when inner agreement is reached. I remember realizing that I was no longer asking whether something would work, but whether it belonged. That question changes everything. You are asking it now without effort. Anointed one, alignment brings with it a different kind of authority, not loud, not performative, but unmistakable. People respond to it without knowing why. Opportunities meet you halfway. Resistance dissolves before it becomes conflict. This is not manipulation, it is coherence. When your inner world is ordered, your outer world responds accordingly. I have watched doors open that effort alone never touched, simply because timing and readiness finally met. You are standing in that convergence now. Chosen one. There is also a release happening around fear of loss. Fear of loss once kept you vigilant. It taught you to protect, to brace, to anticipate collapse. That fear served a purpose in a season of uncertainty, but it cannot govern a season of expansion. Expansion requires trust in continuity. You are learning that what arrives is not fragile. What is aligned is sustained. This realization softens your grip without making you careless. Anointed one, you begin to respect money without fearing it. Respect brings planning. Planning brings stability. Stability invites growth. This is a sacred sequence. Scripture often speaks of building wisely so that storms do not undo the work. You are building in this way now, quietly, methodically, without needing applause. I learned that the most powerful seasons of growth were the least visible. You are in one of those seasons now. Chosen one. As alignment stabilizes, you may notice that distractions lose their appeal. What once tempted you with speed now feels shallow. What once promised relief now feels unnecessary. This is discernment maturing. It is not deprivation, it is preference evolving. You are choosing depth over noise. That choice refines your path. Anointed one, there is also a strengthening of identity taking place. You no longer define yourself by what you are chasing, you define yourself by what you are stewarding. This shift brings dignity, it brings calm, it brings a sense of being rooted rather than reaching. I remember when my goals stopped feeling like escape routes and started feeling like extensions of who I already was. That was the moment alignment became sustainable. You are approaching that same stability. Chosen one. You may also begin to notice subtle confirmations. Conversations that affirm direction, ideas that arrive fully formed, opportunities that require less explanation. These are not coincidences. They are evidence that your internal signal is clear. When the signal is clear, the response is accurate. This is how heaven moves through order rather than urgency. Anointed one trust continues to replace vigilance. You no longer scan constantly for signs. You recognize them naturally. You no longer rush to interpret every delay. You understand that timing refines outcome. This patience is not passive. It is intelligent. It preserves energy for what matters. Chosen one. As this phase integrates, your sense of abundance becomes embodied. Not an idea you repeat, but a posture you carry. You walk differently, you speak differently, you plan differently. I remember the day I realized abundance had moved from belief into behavior. That was the true transfer. You are living that transfer now. Anointed one, let this embodiment settle. Nothing needs to be declared loudly. Nothing needs to be proven publicly. What is aligning does not require validation. It requires consistency. The next phase builds from this embodiment, not adding strain, not adding speed, but adding depth, already supported, already ordered, already unfolding in its appointed time. Chosen one. What completes its formation now is your relationship with trust at scale. Not trust that things will work out somehow, but trust that you can handle expansion without losing alignment. This is where many hesitate, because growth at this level removes excuses. When stability arrives, you can no longer blame circumstances. I remember the moment I realized my life was no longer held together by survival tactics. It was being sustained by intention. That realization was sobering and empowering at the same time. You are arriving at that same awareness now. Anointed one, this is the phase where abundance stops being something you think about and starts being something you manage. That shift carries responsibility, but it also carries freedom. Freedom from constant mental calculation, freedom from fear-driven decision-making, freedom from wondering whether the ground beneath you will give way. Heaven does not remove uncertainty all at once. It replaces it with competence. You are becoming competent at holding more. Chosen one. You may notice that your attention is no longer scattered across possibilities. It gathers around what matters. This focus is not narrow, it is refined. You are no longer tempted by every option. You choose what aligns with your values, your energy, and your long-term direction. I learned that focus is not about doing less. It is about doing what multiplies. That understanding simplified my life and strengthened my results. You are stepping into that simplicity now. Anointed one. There is also a recalibration happening around identity. You no longer see yourself as someone hoping to arrive. You begin seeing yourself as someone already entrusted with direction. This changes how you show up. Your words carry more weight. Your boundaries feel natural instead of defensive. Your confidence is quieter but firmer. This is not arrogance. It is grounded self-awareness. It signals readiness. Chosen one. As readiness settles, timing becomes cooperative. You no longer fight delays or chase acceleration. You recognize when to move and when to wait. That discernment saves you energy and preserves peace. Scripture often speaks of wisdom crying out quietly, not competing with noise. You are learning to hear that wisdom without strain. I learned to respect the pause as much as the push. That balance kept me from burning what I was meant to build. You are learning that balance now. Anointed one, you may also notice that your relationship with money continues to normalize. It feels less dramatic, less charged, less defining. That neutrality is powerful. When money stops defining you, it starts serving you. This is why structure becomes appealing rather than restrictive. Budgets feel supportive, planning feels empowering, tracking feels clarifying. These are not signs of limitation, they are signs of stewardship. Chosen one. Stewardship invites trust. Trust invites opportunity. Opportunity invites growth. This sequence does not break under pressure because it is not built on impulse. I remember when systems began trusting me before individuals did. That trust opened doors I did not even know existed. Systems respond to consistency. You are demonstrating consistency now, even in small, unseen ways. Anointed one, generosity continues to mature here as well. You give with foresight, you invest with patience, you support without expectation. This kind of generosity does not drain, it circulates. It creates goodwill, alignment, and reciprocity without demand. I watched how this shifted my environment over time. Relationships deepened, opportunities became cleaner. You are entering that same circulation now. Chosen one. There is also a growing sense of sufficiency that does not depend on excess. You know you have enough to move forward with confidence. That knowing reduces noise in the mind. It allows creativity to surface. It opens space for insight. Many confuse abundance with accumulation. True abundance is access to what you need when you need it. You are living inside that access now. Anointed one, as this access stabilizes, you begin thinking in terms of legacy rather than relief. Your choices consider impact. Your actions consider continuity. This does not mean thinking far into the future obsessively. It means honoring the future with what you do today. I learned that legacy is built quietly through consistent choices, not dramatic moments. You are building quietly now. Chosen one. You may sense a deeper peace accompanying this maturity, a peace that does not fluctuate with circumstances. That peace is not detachment, it is assurance. Assurance that you are not early or late. Assurance that provision is not fragile. Assurance that alignment is active even when nothing dramatic is happening. This peace allows you to move without forcing outcomes. Anointed One, allow this assurance to settle fully. Nothing needs to be rushed. Nothing needs to be announced. What is forming has already crossed the point of reversal. It will continue because it is supported by structure, clarity, and readiness. Chosen One, this phase brings you to the edge of integration. What follows does not require striving. It unfolds through consistency. It builds on what has already been established. The next movement waits without pressure, already resourced, already stable, already prepared to meet you where you stand. Chosen One, what resolves here is not a moment, but a state. This is where the movement you have felt internally becomes something you live from, not something you wait for. You are no longer preparing to step into abundance. You are standing inside it, learning how to move without disrupting its flow. I remember realizing that nothing dramatic announced this shift. Life simply began responding differently. Doors opened without struggle. Decisions felt cleaner. Peace stayed longer. That is how integration reveals itself, quietly, reliably. Anointed One, this is where identity stabilizes. You no longer see yourself as someone reaching for alignment. You recognize that alignment is already operating through you. Your choices reflect it. Your boundaries protect it. Your pace honors it. This is the point where many expect fireworks, but heaven offers continuity instead. Continuity is the sign that something real has taken root. Chosen One, there is a deep settling happening now around sufficiency, not excess, not lack, sufficiency. You know that what you need will meet you as you move forward. This knowing removes the urge to hoard, to rush, to overextend. When I learned to trust sufficiency, I stopped exhausting myself trying to secure everything at once. That trust freed energy for creativity, generosity, and growth. You are stepping into that same freedom now. Anointed One, abundance at this level expresses itself as clarity. You see what belongs in your life and what does not. You recognize which commitments support your future and which drain your present. This discernment is not harsh, it is kind. It preserves what matters. It allows you to say yes without fear and no without guilt. That balance is rare. It is also powerful. Chosen One, you may notice that your relationship with time has changed. You are less impatient, less anxious about speed, more attentive to rhythm. You understand that growth unfolds through seasons, not pressure. Scripture speaks of seed time and harvest for a reason. What grows well takes time to root. You are honoring that process now, and it is honoring you in return. Anointed One, there is also a quiet confidence forming around your future. Not certainty about every detail, but confidence in direction. You trust the trajectory. You trust your ability to adjust as needed. This confidence allows you to move forward without second-guessing each step. I remember when doubt stopped narrating my choices. Silence replaced it. That silence was not empty, it was assurance. You are hearing that silence now. Chosen One, this is also where gratitude deepens. Not gratitude for what might happen, but gratitude for what is already functioning. You notice support where you once saw struggle. You notice provision where you once saw lack. Gratitude becomes a natural response rather than a discipline. This kind of gratitude sustains abundance because it recognizes reality instead of wishing for it. Anointed One generosity now flows from stability. You share without depletion. You give without anxiety. You invest without fear. This generosity does not announce itself. It circulates quietly. It strengthens relationships. It builds trust. It creates alignment without demand. I have seen how this kind of generosity changes environments over time. You are participating in that change now. Chosen one, your life begins reflecting coherence. Work aligns with values, income aligns with contribution, growth aligns with peace. This coherence is rare because it requires patience, honesty, and courage. You have developed all three. Not overnight, but through lived experience. Through moments that taught you restraint. Through seasons that refined your vision. Through challenges that strengthened your discernment. Anointed one, there is no longer a need to prove readiness. Readiness is evident in how you move, in how you choose, in how you wait. Heaven recognizes readiness long before the world does, and when the world begins to notice, it will feel natural rather than shocking. That is the mark of alignment done well. Chosen one. As this final integration settles, you may feel a deep calm where urgency once lived. This calm is not the end of movement. It is the environment in which sustainable movement happens. From here, growth continues without strain. Expansion continues without loss of peace. Provision continues without fear of collapse. Anointed one, what has been opening through these moments is not something you must chase or maintain through effort. It is something that remains because it was built correctly. You are not stepping away from struggle into fantasy. You are stepping from preparation into continuity. Chosen one, what comes next does not need anticipation. It does not require vigilance. It unfolds through presence, through consistency, through the quiet confidence that knows what is aligned will remain. And this movement continues here, settled, steady, already held in place. Chosen one, you are not leaving this moment empty. What has been spoken over you has already entered motion, because heaven does not wait for perfect conditions. It responds to alignment. This is your Kairos moment, your appointed time, where preparation meets release and intention meets provision. What is unfolding is not forced, not rushed, and not accidental. A divine transfer is already in motion, settling into place with precision and peace. Anointed one, carry this awareness forward with reverence. Let gratitude guide your steps. Let faith steady your decisions. Let consistency guard what is growing. You are not required to strive to prove what heaven has already confirmed. Stay faithful in the small moments. Stay aligned in your choices. Stay open to the flow that is meeting you where you are. Chosen one, if your spirit bears witness to this word, you are welcome to affirm it in the comments, to remain connected, or to share this message with someone whose season is shifting as well. Let every response come from sincerity, not urgency, and from agreement, not pressure. Sometimes God's reminders are not loud or dramatic, but quiet and practical, waiting in the pinned comment or the description for moments when the heart needs steadiness more than answers. Anointed one, may clarity guard you, may provision meet you, and may peace anchor you, as what has been prepared continues to manifest in its perfect time. Go forward covered, confident, and complete.